Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this evening session on MIAD 809, which is titled International Economic Relation, which some people will call it International Political Economy. So, and tonight we'll try our best to cover as much as we can and also look at some past question and answer. So, without wasting much of our time, what we need to understand with this course is divided into 3 modules, and try your best to know some key topics or subjects or session in these 3 modules to be able to help you in the examinations. So module 1 is just about the introduction to this course, the conceptual part of this course, where we are going to see the foundation or some concept regarding this course. Why the module 2, we are going to look at the international trade, the theories of international trade and its practice. And the module 3, we are going to look at issues in international development. Now, without wasting much of our time, we will delve into the business of the day. Listen. So, as I said, the first part of this course helps us to understand the concept and how each concept in this course interact together, how they link together. So, the course title, as we say, International Economic Relation, which means that you need to know the meaning of international relation and international economy. You need to know the meaning of these 2 concepts and how these 2 concepts relate together. But before you understand international relation and international economy, you need to understand politics on its part. You need to understand economy on its part, and also you need to understand the concept of international relation. Because in some of the past questions, there are questions that are related to define the following concept: economy, international political economy. And some of the past questions say you should define politics, economy, international relation. So which means that you need to know the concept involved in this particular course. Kindly mute yourself so that we'll be able to understand ourselves. So without understanding this concept I mentioned, you cannot understand the international economic relation or the international political economy. And the first concept we are looking at today is economy. The first concept we're looking at today is economy. What is economy? Anybody to help us with the meaning of economy? What is economy? Based on your own understanding, what is economy? What is economy? Anybody? You can just unmute yourself and say something. What is economy? Anybody? What is economy? I know we have bankers here. So what is economy? Nobody wants to answer. You don't want to answer my question. What is economy? Anybody to help us?
Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you perfectly.
Say that it's the study of decisions. What decisions are made by individuals and
the call is breaking.
I mean,
the call is breaking.
It's poor.
Your call is breaking. Breaking.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Economy is a system of organization and institutions that help in facilitating or involves in production.
I don't know whether it's from my hand, but I cannot hear you well.
Production and can you hear me?
A bit louder, please. Speak louder.
I said economy is a system of organization and institutions that help in facilitating or helps in production and distribution of resources among members of society.
Thank you very much. She said it's them that talks about the production of the distribution of goods and services. And remove yourself. So that's our definition, which she's right. Please, Bidemi, you can mute yourself. Now, so economy is about how people and the society use scarce resources like land, labor, and capital to meet unlimited wants. How people and the society, how the people and the society use scarce resources. And these scarce resources we are making reference to is the land, the labor, and the capital. How we are using it to achieve unlimited human wants. Understand? So we all know that people, we have unlimited desire, let me say unlimited wants and needs. Understand? But this, our desire exceed available resources. So economy comes in to help us decide what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce it. You understand? So understanding how you can satisfy the need or the want of people in the society, the process we need to, the study of how we understand or how we can provide a solution to the need and want of people in the society by deciding what are we producing, how are we producing it, and for whom we are producing it. The process on understanding that one is economy. Listen, and when we talk about economy, you will see that economy is divided into two. We have the macro economy and we have the micro economy. The micro and the macro economy. Listen, the micro economy and the macro economy. And when we talk about the micro economy, that is the study of individual decisions by household. The study of individual decision by household and firm. Which means that if we are talking about macro economy, we are talking about you and I as an individual. Why do you prefer to buy Bonfita and not Milo? Why do you prefer to use McLean and not Close Up? Do you understand? So why do you make some decision in your house that it is this particular brand you want and not this particular brand? That is about the microeconomy, because the microeconomy look at the individual by household, look at you, what you consume. Because what you consume is going to determine what they are going to produce and how they are going to produce it in quantity. That is the microeconomy. But the macroeconomy is large. The micro is small because it looks at the individual. Somebody's calling me. Somebody was calling me. So the microeconomy, it's small because it looks at the individual, household, and firm. But the macroeconomy is looking at economy on a larger platform. Economy as a whole. That is where we talked about inflation, unemployment, the gross domestic product, national income. That is, it look at economy at a larger platform, looking at how the economy is being shaped globally or domestically in the country. Understand? So from my slide, you will see that we put in my slide, we mentioned that the microeconomy study the individual decision maker, that is those that make decision in the household arena. Understand? Some people, they prefer to use McLean. Some people prefer to use Close Up. Some people prefer to use another brand. But they have their own reason. So the reason determines how to produce that particular brand, when to produce it, and with the quantity to put in place. But on the other hand, on the macro economy, we are talking about a global form of studying economy as a whole. The national income, the employment rate in the country, the unemployment rate in the country, the gross domestic product, the government spending. That's about the macro economy. Listen, in short, what you need to understand is that economy, in summary, economy is how we are trying to manage scarcity or scarce resources to satisfy unlimited wants of human beings. Understand? Now, that is the first concept. The second concept, please kindly mute yourself. Who is this person? Kindly mute yourself if you are here, please. So the second concept we are looking at is political science or politics. Let me just put it as politics. We'll take politics and then we'll go to political science. That's on politics. According to our last well, that's the popular definition we use in political science, especially any student that did political science. The definition is politics is about, it focuses on who gets what, when, and how. Politics is who gets what, when, and how. Is a definition by our last well. The definition helps us to understand is that politics is about power and decision-making with government. Power, decision-making, and governance. So in essence, it determines who gets what in the country, who get the power. Politics is going to determine who get the power. I said, when did the person get the power? They get it through election, maybe through coup d'etat. And how did they get it? Listen. So with politics involves three things we need to note. Number one thing we need to note is politics involves the use of power and authority to make decisions that affect everyone. Politics involves the use of power and authority. The use of power and authority to make decisions that affect everyone. Number two, politics involve the creation and the enforcement of law and policies. It involves the creation and the enforcement of law and policies. That is why you have people at the House of Senate and House of Rep. They make law. Understand? They make law and they put down things for people to follow the law. The third thing we need to note when it comes to politics, it involves the allocation of value and resources in the society. It involves the allocation of value and resources in the societies. Understand? So in essence, these three things that we mentioned, it's involved in politics. That is, it's included whenever we talk about politics. The use of power and authority, making of law, allocation of scarce resources to people. Understand? So that is about politics. And the political science on its own is just a systematic reflection on how power in the society is being studied. That is, studying politics in the society. Understand? So it's a study of government and politics dealing with making and implementing of public policy. So in essence, as after knowing the concept of economy, you need to know the concept of politics. Because in your past question, they will say, explain the following. Understand? They will say, explain the following. And they will list out the concept. So you need to note it down. You understand? So in essence, after knowing economy, you need to know politics. The next thing you need to understand, you need to know is international relation. The definition of international relation. As I said, module 1 is about concept. Understand? So the international relation, what is international relation? Anybody to help us with the definition of international relation? Anybody? International relation. What is international relation?
Simply how states relate with each other in international like system or field. In the international system.
Thank you very much. International relation, how states, countries relate with each other in international arena. Understand? So international relation is also the study of how country and global actors interact with one another, because it is not usually the countries only or states. We have state actors and non-state actors. So we put them under the umbrella of global actors. So whenever we see global actors, we in bracket state actors and non-state actors. Listen. So international relation is how countries and global actors interact with one another. Listen. And it deals with 3 things you need to know. International relations deals with 3 things: peace and war, trade and diplomacy, and global cooperation. Peace and war, trade and diplomacy, and global cooperation. So in essence, the international relation we are trying to, it recognizes that in this world, countries cannot live in isolation. No country can survive on its own without cooperation. Listen, so the world is interdependent. You depend on another country to survive. The world is like that. The world is built in a way that you have to depend in another country to be able to survive. No country in this world can survive on its own. So, if a country decides to live on its own without depending on another country, there is going to be difficulty. Listen, there is going to be difficulty. And look at what is happening in the Middle East. As they are fighting in the Middle East, the price of oil in Nigeria is increasing. So you will not be wondering that what is happening in Nigeria and Middle East. Look at the distance. The distance is very far. But problem in the Middle East is affecting Nigeria in Africa. Listen, so we are interrelated and we depend on each other. Countries depend on each other. So in short, you need to understand that international relation, it is how the state actors and the non-state actors behave and relate internationally. How the state actors and the non-state actors behave and relate internationally. Am I communicating, please? Am I communicating? Just let me know if you don't understand. Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So, in essence, international relation, is a subfield of political science. Is a subfield of political science. That is a field of political science. Is study politics within and between states. Within and between states. That is the politics that happen between countries and within countries. As I said, an issue of peace and war is there. Trade and diplomacy and global cooperation is there. Understand? Now, the next concept we are looking at is the concept of political economy. You know, we've talked about economy, the definition of economy. We've talked about the concept of politics. Now, you now join politics and economy together, which is political economy. Anybody to define political economy for us? Political economy. What is political economy? What is political economy? What is political economy? Anybody?
Political economy is the study of how politics and economics interact.
Thank you very much. That is simple. How politics and economy interact. Understand? How politics and economy interact. That is a very simple definition. Understand that? Now, understanding political economy, you will be asking yourself, how is politics and economy connect? Understand? You cannot understand politics without understanding economy. Likewise, you cannot understand economy without understanding politics. That is why sometimes you will do economy in school and you say, "Oh, I don't want to be a politician." But at a corner, you will do politics. You do a kind of politics at a corner. Understand? So how is politics and economy connected? Listen, politics and economy connected in three ways. The number one way is politics decide who gets what in the society. Politics decide who gets what in the society. Why economy decide how goods and services are produced and distributed. Understand? Policy decide who gets what in the society, but the economy is going to tell us how goods and services are distributed in the society. You take the example of fuel, for instance. Now you say there is no fuel in Nigeria. Listen, but the politician can determine who are going to get fuel. They set a price. Maybe they said 1,800, for instance. They set a price. That means if you can afford 1,800, automatically they've set it that those people that can afford 1,800, they are the ones that are going to get it. But the economy is going to determine how much quantity you are going to receive. Because the politicians have set their own price, how do you call it? Economy is going to decide how goods and the services that you need, how you are going to receive it, or how it's going to be produced in the society. That's number one. The number two is that politics use power to make decisions in the society. Why economy use resources to meet the needs of the decision making. Politics use power to make decision. They make decision. After making decision, economy will come in at the back door to use resources, available resources, understand, to meet the needs. If a government say they want to do a road, maybe they want to build road, they want to construct some road in the city, without economy, that road can never be actualized. So economy is going to use the resources available to meet that particular need. Understand? Now, why the thought is politics influence economy policy. Understand? Because we have economy policy, and some of the economy policy are taxes, trade, protectionism policy. So there are some policies that have been made by politicians that affect the economy entirely. Understand? There are some policies that have been made by politicians that affect economy entirely, like scarcity, like subsidy. Subsidy. They are made by politicians. It's made by true politics. Understand? But on the other hand, economy affects political power and influence. A country that is not economically strong, their power and influence is going to be weak. So as politics is influencing economic decision also is influencing policy. Am I communicating, please? If you don't understand, just let me know you don't understand. So you are here to learn. Okay? Can I proceed, please?
Please take that again.
Thank you very much. I really love that. You don't understand, say you don't understand. So we go back. Thank you very much. Now, we are trying to look at how politics and economy connect. Listen, because when we say how they connect, there's a way that you cannot do politics without economy. And there's a way that economic activity cannot be actualized without politics. That is why we say that we have three ways, understand, that they connect together. Understand? Number one, politics decide who gets what in the society. Politics decide who gets what in the society. But economy, the economy power, understand, the economy will not decide how goods and services are produced and distributed. If politicians, for instance, if politicians say, if there is a policy in Nigeria that we want to make fuel accessible to people, the resources, the economic resources we have is going to decide the quantity we are going to produce and how it's going to be distributed. Listen, so politics can make the decision, but if the economy power is not there, that decision cannot be actualized. That's number one. Number two, politics usually focus on the use of power to make decisions. But economy, on the other hand, focuses on the use of resources to actualize what politics decides. Politics, they use power to make the decision. But some of the decision in politics cannot be actualized if there is no economic resources. So the economic resources is now being used to meet the needs. Listen, why the third one is that political, some economic decision is being influenced by politics. Understand? By tax, for instance, some of the political decision, economic decision, taxes, scarcity, trade policy. So if the government decides today that, okay, they want to increase tax, there was a time they would say Tinubu want to increase tax on everybody. I think I don't know if it's this year or next year he's going to implement that one. But, taxes is an economic matter, not a political matter. But because he's the leader, he make a decision that influence economic matter. Understand? But on the other hand, economy also can affect political power and influence, because a country that does not have economic power, that does not have the resources, they will lose their power and influence in international system. Do you understand me? The person that asked me to go back again. Do you understand? Oh,
Yeah, that's clear.
Thank you very much. Now, so in essence, we've talked about economy, politics, political economy, international relations. Yes, sir. Now, the next thing we will talk about is, as I said, first how do you call it? First module is just about concept. You need to understand some definition before you can be able to understand the next modules. Listen. So now, based on the fact, the relationship between politics and economy, some scholars, some philosophers give their own point of view. Listen, we have the Marxist point. Okay, Jennifer, I want to talk. Yeah, Jennifer, raise your hand.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, so based on what you just said, are you trying to say that a a country that has political power is automatically economically stable? So do they go hand in hand? Do they have to actually work together? So a country that is economically strong is automatically politically stable. Is that what it means?
Thank you very much for your question. To be economically strong as a country, there are more tendency that you are going to be politically strong. There are more tendency that you are going to influence international decision. But when you are economically weak as a country, there are more tendency that you are not going to make any influence in international politics. Let me give you an example. Somalia is in Africa. Economically, they are weak. Understand? They are weak economically. So in international politics, they do not carry weight. They do not make influence. Understand? Because economically, they are weak. Understand? Now, and when we say economically a country is weak, it comes to a stage that the rate of employment, the rate of unemployment in the country, you calculate that one also. Understand? That is the standard of living in the country. You calculate that one. Now, look at on the aspect of countries that are economically powerful. This country, they borrow money to other country. And once they borrow money, there is something we call conditionality. They borrow money with condition. It's like you go to bank, they borrow you money with condition. The same thing, powerful country, they borrow money with conditionality. If you are borrowing money with conditionality, you are going to influence the person you are borrowing money from. You are going to influence how the person reasons, how the country. If America borrow Nigerian money or UK borrow Nigerian money, they will influence our decision-making process. Yes, sir. So economic power also influence political decision. Countries that are economically weak find problem in international political system. You raise your hand, Jennifer. Okay. You have another question? I think Jennifer, you raise your hand. Okay, okay. We proceed. We are on the matter of the relationship between politics and economy, and some scholars gave their own contribution. And one of the scholars is we call it the Marxist view. The Marxist view, understand? The Marxist viewpoint. How Karl Marx view the relationship between politics and economy. Understand? How Karl Marx view the relationship between politics and economy. Understand? Karl Marx believed that economy determines politics. You understand? He believed that economy determines politics. You understand? In his word, he said that the economy is the foundation that politics is laid upon. According to Karl Marx, economy determines politics. And he believed that economy is the foundation, and without that foundation, politics cannot be built upon it. Listen, let us give an example now. Rich capitalist countries. Listen, when you say rich countries, rich capitalist countries, when you look at them, you will notice that they dominate the global politics. The rich capitalist country dominate the global politics. Because of what? They have more resources. Listen, so without their resources, they cannot dominate the international politics. But because of their resources, they dominate the international politics. That is the Marxist point of view about how economy and politics relate. Understand? Now, we have the liberal point of view, the point of view of the liberal. Understand? The liberal point of view regarding the relationship between economy and politics is that the liberal believe that economy and politics can be separated. To them, they are not joined together. They can be separated. Economy and policy can be separated. They argue that the economy work best with minimal government interference. Listen, there's a concept we call laissez-faire concept. Laissez-faire concept is a French word, which means that the government should not interfere in anything that is called economy. Listen, the government should not regulate the market. The government should leave the market to regulate itself through supply of goods and services. Listen, so sometimes you notice that the government make the price of some things in the country. So to the liberal, they believe that the government should not interfere because economy can work alone, government or politics also can work on its own. Listen, so we are still on the relationship of them. So to the liberal, they cannot work together. But to the Marxists, they believe that economy and politics, they are interrelated because economy remains the foundation that politics is built upon. Understand? So, question before I proceed to the next slide. We are still in section 1, module 1, subsection 1. So, can I proceed? Can I proceed? Can I proceed? Okay, we have Farida that want to ask a question. Yeah, you can ask your question. Yeah, you can mute your.
Good evening, Mr. Akanji.
Good evening.
These theories, do they have any similarities? Do they have anything in common?
Anything in common?
Yes.
I don't really understand your question.
Okay, the Marx theory, they believe that both the economics and politics are linked together. They can be linked together, right? And then the liberal, they believe that they are not together, they are separated.
No,
Apart from this,
thank you very much. The liberal go against the belief of the Marxists.
Okay.
They go
meaning liberal, they counter the Marxist view.
Yeah, because the Marxists believe that we cannot separate politics and economy. But the liberals say that we can separate them. They can go on different way. They can be separated. But the Marxists said we cannot separate it. So that's the differences between the two.
Okay, thank you.
Now, we've talked about international politics, right? International relation. International politics. What is international politics? What is international politics? What is international politics? Anybody? International politics. I think we did that one yesterday. International politics. I think we did.
Try.
Okay.
I think international politics is the struggle for power at the global level.
Okay. Struggle for power at a global level. Another point. Okay. Any other person to give us another meaning of international politics? International politics. International politics. See, this theory, you need to know it. There is no way you will escape it in the examination. I'm not saying that I'm the one that said the exam, but there is no way you will be able to escape this theory in the exam because some of the questions that happen in the exam, let me just read out the questions. The question, there's a question that says, explain the following concept: international political economy, international politics, international political system. Listen, so these are concepts in almost all the question, in almost all the exam, you will see that. You will see explain concepts. There's a macroeconomy, microeconomy, political economy. So I share a past question. I shared a past question with I don't know, Sherry. So I shared like 9 past questions with her that she should share with you. So if you look at the past question, you will see that these concepts are in the exam. You cannot escape it. Yes, and so I just want to make it more like interactive enough so that even in the examination, if you remember our interaction, it will be able to help you in the exam. So what is international politics? Anybody to help us?
Okay, can I make contribution?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I think international politics is about how nations or countries interact with one another at the global stage.
Thank you very much. So how countries interact with one another at the global stage. We have Rema that want to contribute also. You can talk. You can unmute yourself. You raise your hand. Rema, you can talk. Maybe it's a mistake. Rema, Christo, maybe it's a mistake. So in essence, international politics is not about how countries alone interact, but we put it out as how countries interact together in international relation, but not all in country, because we have actors that interact in the international system also, which are the non-state actors. Listen, we have the non-state actors like the terrorist group, like the NGOs, like the international organizations, listen, multinational corporations. So how they interact together in the international organization on matters that deals with politics. Listen, so that is about international policies. On the other hand, international economy. What is international economy? Anybody? International economy. International economy. What is international economy? Anybody to help us? International economy.
Hello,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah.
National economic involve the interaction between states and organizations on trade and finance.
The call is breaking. The call was breaking. Can you repeat it, please?
National economic relations involve the interaction between nations and organizations, focusing on trade and finance.
Okay, so it involves the interaction between nations or between countries, focuses on trade. Okay, that's the point. Okay, you raise your hand, you can talk. Yeah, you raise your hand. I think somebody raised, maybe she made a mistake. I think so. International economy. Understand? From the slide, you can see from my slide, we say international economy is concerned with how economic activities is discussed in the global political system. Focuses on two things: international trade and international finance. International trade and international finance. Understand? So we talked about economic activities in the international system while we focus on international trade and international finance. Usually we call it international investment, but in the international investment focuses on the international trade and international finance. Listen. Now, I want us to look at the theory of mercantilism or mercantilist. There is a question on that, and our past question. The theory of mercantilist or mercantilism. So, mercantilism or mercantilist is a theory that was applied between the 15th century to the 18th century. Listen, it is also known as the theory of wealth and power. Listen, it is also known as the theory of wealth and power. It has three principles or three arguments. It has three principles or three arguments. Number one argument: the more gold or silver a country has, the richer and stronger it is. Number one argument: the more gold or silver a country has, the more richer and stronger that particular country is. Understand? Number two argument of mercantilism or mercantilist is that to gain wealth, for a country to gain wealth, country must export more and import less. For a country to be rich, for them to gain wealth, they need to export more things outside and import less things inside. So, which means that the mercantilism theory encourage exporting of goods and services than importing of goods and service. Understand? The third argument of mercantilism is that the government should control trade and protect local industry through protectionism. It says that government should protect the trade, local trade, understand, and also protect local industry. We should control trade and protect local industry. Understand? And the only way government can protect local industry is through protectionism. That is protecting the local industry. Understand? So if you look at France and Britain, they are the perfect example. France and Britain, they are the perfect example. Is you notice that they colonize more African country. Understand? They colonize more African country, and they use that idea. Then they colonize country in Asia, in Africa. They take gold, they take silver from them and bring it to their country. Understand? They take it from another country to build their own country. So this theory that they take gold and silver from another territory to their country is a way to build their own country. Believe they don't have the resources, but the only way to get the resources is to take from those that have it and encourage exporting your own goods to them, but not allowing them to bring in their own goods. So most colonial masters, colonial countries, those countries that colonize us, you will notice that in the history, they take their goods to Africa. Understand? Maybe they take a mirror, they take anything to lure our forefathers. Understand? Why they take our mineral resources, they take it to their country. They import legs, they export. Why they export what they can export, but they're taking more things from you. That's about the theory of mercantilism. So for my slide, you can see that we say that mercantilism as a concept, understand, is a system by which the government use the economy to augment the state power at the expense of other countries. Understand? Is a system whereby the state, let me just remove this petty. Is a system where the state use the economy to increase the state power at the expense of other countries. They find any other way. They find all means to make themselves rich, by making other people poor. So they don't care whether you are rich or you are not rich, but so far as they are rich, they are okay. Listen, that is about mercantilism. We'll proceed to the next concept. If you have questions, you can ask me, please. Don't. The next concept we want to look at are theories. Theories in international political economy. Theories in international political economy. And the number one theory, we have three theories we're going to look at. The first theory we are going to look at is the dualism. Economy dualism, that is dual economy. Dualism or dual economy. The second one is the modern world system theory. While the third one is the hegemonic stability theory. So these are the three theories we are going to look at. So we take them one after the other. So number one theory, dual economy. The theory of dual economy or dualism. Understand? The theory of dual economy or dualism. This theory believes that every country has two parts, like every country has two parts, understand, which are the modern sector and the traditional sector. The theory of dual economy believes that every country has two parts. which are the modern sector and the traditional sector. And development can happen when the traditional sector become modern. So before a society can be developed, its traditional sector must be industrialized, must be modern. Understand? So when we say modern sector, we make reference to rich and developed or industrialized society. While we say traditional sector, we make reference to the poor, underdeveloped, and the agricultural part. Look at Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have two sectors. So if you are living in Lagos or you're living in Abuja or you're living in Port Harcourt, you know that the same Abuja that you have, there is a part in Abuja that is modern. There is a part in Abuja that is traditional. The same thing in all states. So for development to occur, the traditional part have to be modern, have to be industrialized. It's like moving from subsistence farming to modern farming. It's like moving to subsistence. Instead of using cutlass to farm, use machine. So moving from subsistence. Let me move this person. I've moved this person. So in essence, the dual economy is laying emphasis that for development to occur in any society, the traditional part of that society have to be developed. Listen. So if the modern part is not developing and is regressing, that society is likely to be underdeveloped. I don't know what I'm communicating. Am I communicating, please?
Please repeat this last sentence.
So I said, if the modern society, let's say Nigeria, let me take Abuja as an example. If the modern part of Abuja is not progressing again, if it's regressing, if it's going backward, maybe you go to a place 5 years back, they have companies, they have good road, good electricity, and you now come back to that place, no good road, no pipe-borne water. They are regressing, they are going back instead of them to go forward. That particular society is likely to be underdeveloped. Because according to the dual economy, for development to occur, the modern society will continue to be moving forward. Why the traditional society, or the traditional sector, will need to move to the modern sector? Do you understand? That person that asked the question.
Yes, I understand. Thank you very much.
So transformation or development can only occur if the traditional is moving to the modern sector through modernization of economy. Through modernization of economy, political structure, or social structure. If you look at my slide, in the slide I said development happened when backward subsistence economy are pulled into the modern. Any way you see in a society that is backward or that is not moving, when it's now moving as it's supposed to move, then you can say development is occurring in that particular society. That is about the theory of the dual economy. The second theory is the theory of the modern world system. The theory of the modern world system. With the theory of the modern world system, the theory is this theory says that the world is divided. Understand? The world is divided into two. Understand? The world is divided into two with a capitalist system viewpoint. It is divided into core, country, and periphery country. You can see from my slide as periphery and core country. It's divided into core country. I know this slide is jam-packed, but if you have the document, you'll be able to zoom it and see it very well. So the world is divided into core country and periphery country. Now, when we say core country, core is spelled C-O-R, C-O-R-E, core countries. Core countries means rich countries. And they are the ones that control technology, trade, capital in the international system. Listen, but the periphery is spelled, I don't know, that's how I pronounce it, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's spelled P-E-R-I-P-H-E-R-Y, periphery, P-E-R-I-P-H-E-R-Y. So the periphery country, they are the poor country. And the poor country, they supply raw materials and cheap labor. Listen, the core country, they are the rich country. They are the one that control anything called technology, trade, capital, commerce. But the periphery country, they are the poor country. They are there to supply raw material. Look at Africa. Most countries in Africa, we supply our raw materials to them in Europe, in abroad, in Europe. And what they do, they refine it and they sell it to us at very expensive price. Listen, so this modern world system theory, it believes that rich country exploit poor countries. That is, the core country exploit the periphery country through trade and finance. Listen, through trade and finance. They ask you to give them the raw material. They process your raw material. They sell it to you at expensive price. Now, if you want to also be processing raw material, what they do, they give you money. After giving you money, they put condition in that money. That condition they put in that money will make you not to achieve your aim of also processing what they are processing. So there is usually exploitation of the poor country by the rich country. That is why there is a gap between rich country and poor countries. I don't know what I'm communicating, please. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? If you want me to go back, I can go back. Don't feel shy. Don't be shy. I'm a student like you, so don't be shy. So if you want me to go back, I'll go back. Do you
Please
understand?
do so.
What do you say?
I said, please go back.
Thank you very much. I really love it.
Back, I beg.
Thank you very much. Now, we say that the name of the theory is the theory of modern world system. That is how the world, in this modern day, how the world functions. Listen now, how the world functions currently. We now say that the world that we are seeing, in this world we are seeing, is one capitalist system. Listen, is a one system. One system is being applied in the world. Listen, and the system is divided into two. That is, the capitalists, they divide the system into two. The core country. Core is spelled C-O-R-E, which is the rich countries, the wealthy countries. Listen, now, this wealthy country, they control technology, trade, commerce, capital. They control it. Listen, that is the first part. And we have the periphery country. Periphery is a P-E-R-I-P-H-E-R-Y, which are the poor country. Look at the world yourself. Just picture the world. You will notice that some countries are rich, while some are poor. Right? The world, that is because the world is designed like that. And it was designed by the capitalists. The capitalist country designed it like that. That if you are either poor or you are either rich. Understand? It is before they will say developed country, underdeveloped country, developing country. Nowadays, developing country and underdeveloped country, they don't mix them together. You understand? So, the poor country, they have the mineral resources, but in raw material form. You understand? So, what the rich country do, they exploit the poor country. You understand? They exploit them through trade and finance, through business. They buy your raw material from you. They buy your cheap labor from you. They buy it through business. Understand? But after they finish the work on that raw material, they sell it to you at an expensive price. So when they sell it to you as an expensive price, in a way that you cannot afford it, you continue to be poor while they continue to be rich because they gain more from you. Aside from that one, if you want to decide, okay, you want to be rich, you still go back to them to borrow you money, or you want to be developed. That is why you see most countries borrow money from all these capitalist countries. So once you borrow money from them, they put condition. You can Google the conditionality of World Bank and IMF for African countries. You can Google whenever you have time. With the conditionality of IMF and World Bank, I don't think African countries can be rich again, because they put condition that to pay back it's going to be difficult. Even if you pay, but at the expense of your own country development. So in essence, what we are trying to understand with this modern world modern world system theory is about how the world is designed economically. It is designed in two ways: the rich countries and the poor country. Shikena, do you understand? The person that asked me to go back.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Now, the next theory we are looking at is the hegemonic stability. Hegemonic stability. There are some points I will not touch because of our time. So I want us to cover more. So you can have access to my slide and read it later. So hegemonic stability. When we talk about hegemonic stability, the hegemonic stability is of the point that the world is more stable when there is one dominant power. For the world to be stable, we need to have one country that dominates every other country. That is the theory, the mindset of the hegemonic stability theory. And that one country that dominates all the country, it is called the hegemon. You can see from my slide here, you can see my slide. I don't know if my slide is showing. Let me check if the slide is showing. Yeah. So the hegemony. So hegemon is spelled Hegemon. Hegemon. Understand? So that is for stability to occur in the world, there has to be one country that dominates all the nation. And that country is called hegemon. The country must be leading. So this powerful country we are talking about is responsible for enforcing law, promoting free trade, and maintaining order in the international system. There was a time, Britain, in the 19th century, Britain was the hegemon. There was a time Britain was the hegemon. Listen, but after the World War II, I think after the World War II, USA took over. Listen, so from the slide, if you are using a laptop or your phone, with your phone you can zoom it. With a laptop, you can check it out. From the slide, we say this hegemonic stability theory. Understand? This theory postulates that an open and liberal world economy requires the existence of an hegemonic power. So that is the world we have seen today. If the world is supposed to function normally, it requires the existence of an hegemonic power that this one dominant power need to exist. Understand? Because it's like you are in a classroom, and when the teacher is not around, the class captain need to make order, need to make sure things go well. Understand? So the class captain at that aspect is the hegemon. When you put it, somebody is asking, Blessing is asking a question in the comment section. He said, like, what Trump is trying to do. Okay, so somebody saying in the comment section that like what Trump is trying to do is he hegemon. Yeah, so Donald Trump is trying to be a class captain in the world. He's trying to make sure that all countries respect law and order, that they respect USA decision. Understand? So, like, what he's trying to do is hegemon. Is trying to be an hegemon, but he's not an hegemon because we have multipolarity of power currently. That is, power is shared between many countries nowadays. So, but what Donald Trump is trying to do nowadays is still like trying to show that he's a dominant power over any other country. You understand? Thank you very much for that example. So, in essence, the hegemonic power is just about putting one powerful country over any other country, because that powerful country is going to take charge of maintaining law and order, promoting free trade, maintaining peace and security, making rules and regulation for other countries to follow. That is about hegemony. Can we proceed, please? If you don't understand, let me know. Now, we'll proceed. Now, the next thing we want to look at, please, the four global power structure. Four global power structure. That is, when we say global power structure, our power is shared in the international system. Our power is being structured in international system. There's one past question that talks about that questions. Listen. So we have four. We have the security power, we have the security structure, production structure, finance structure, and the knowledge structure. Now, this four structure, if a country has the four, we consider that country to be powerful. Listen, that is how the global power structure is. Now, let's take it one after the other. Whenever we say security power structure, if we say security, we have four global power structure, but the number one is the security structure. Now, if we say security structure, whenever we hear security, we make reference to military and defense, right? Military and defense. And it's not only military and defense, but it's also how the standard of life of people, the standard of living of people is being is being maintained in a country. Aside from protecting the territory, people in the country, are they secure? Are they secured? And that is security, the security power. So you need to have power, military power and defense power, that makes other countries afraid of you. And at the same time, that makes you to protect people in your territory. Look at Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the powerful, Nigeria has one of the powerful military in Africa, but we have a problem. We cannot defend our territory from the insurgency. You understand? So that is a wrong signal in international system. It's a wrong signal. Because with that signal, other countries are going to know that militarily you are not powerful. You may be local champion, but in the international system, you are not powerful. So the security structure, that's number one. The second structure is the production structure. The production structure in the international system determines who produces what and who benefits from what it produced. Because during production, when you produce, you have the ability to export more. And once you export more, you benefit more as a country. So if you have a production power structure as a country, economically, you will be rich. Understand? Economically, you'll be rich because you are going to determine what to produce, how to produce, when to produce, for whom to produce. Understand? And when you produce it, you set up your terms and conditions also for people that will buy. So that is why you see countries that produce more things, they are always rich. Because they determine the price, aside from determining the price, they determine the quantity and they determine when they should produce it. Aside from the production structure, we have the finance structure. That is the control of the global money and banking system. Listen, the finance structure remains one of the complex structure in the international system. Listen, but because countries need money, they need finance. So the finance structure determines the country that has the money and the country that borrows from the money. So if you have the money, you can automatically influence those that borrow the money. So some countries control the global money and the banking sector internationally. While some countries, they don't control it, they borrow from those that control it. Automatically, when you borrow from them, they influence your decision-making process. Why the fourth structure is the knowledge structure. And the knowledge structure is derived from education and technology. Listen, we say knowledge is power. At the same time, knowledge is power and it is wealth. Listen, because if you use knowledge well, you can easily become rich. Listen, if you use the knowledge well, you can easily become rich. So being a power structure, it's also a source of wealth. You see, most of us that come to the UK now, we are looking for knowledge. Understand? We go to school in the UK, and when we go back to Africa, our certificate makes sense. So knowledge. So the four power structure in the international system, the four global power structure, they are the security structure, the production structure, the finance structure, and the knowledge structure. Listen. So together, these four, they form the international system in which country depend upon. Because in the international system, if they say countries are looking for power, the struggle of power is the four things they are looking for: security power, production power, financial power, and knowledge power, which is structured. Any questions?
Please
We are
take
done. We are done. One. What do you say?
The finance structure, please. Can you take that a little bit again?
Thank you very much. So the finance structure determines the control of bank and the global money. Listen, it is usually the complex aspect. It's usually the complex aspect because all other structure need finance. Listen, all other structure need finance. And those that control the financial structure, they are usually seen as the lender. They give money out. They give aid, financial aid, to other countries that don't have it. And with that, they set out the terms, the rules and regulation, the conditionality of the terms they give, the conditionality of the money they give out. You understand? So the international finance you are looking at, understand? The international finance you are looking at is being controlled by some few countries. Although we'll be mentioning the World Bank, you'll be mentioning the IMF, but is controlled by the capitalists. And these capitalists, they can easily influence decision-making of any country that require loan from them. Listen, if they ask Nigerian government to remove subsidy before they give him loan, he's going to remove it without even thinking of Nigerian. You understand? So they give condition to your president, they give condition to presidents, they give condition to world leaders before they give them loan. So those that control the financial structure or the finance structure, understand, they easily manipulate those that don't have the sort of the finance structure. Am I communicating?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we are done with module 1. We are done with module 1. You notice that module 1 is just a concept. I don't know if Sherry is there. I don't know if I pronounce your name very well. I don't know.
Sorry, how do they usually form question in this one that we just finished?
No, I'm coming. Okay, I will read out the question. I sent a question to Sherry.
Do you want me to share?
Yeah, share it to the group. Share it to the group now so that everybody can open it. Just share it to the group and everybody should open it, please, so that we will understand the question are coming from module 1.
Has this slide been shared
I
before?
didn't bother sharing it because
what did you say?
Flying around the general group. That's around.
Just
Okay,
share.
so that's on our elements. I mean, I have this even from the group, but I've shared it now. It's on the general group now. Everybody can get it.
Okay, I was just asking Mr. Akanji, this slide, has it been shared with us? Do you want to share it with us?
Yeah, I shared it yesterday night. Please
Which
check
group,
on the
please?
general
Which group?
The general group,
Please,
the
do you
MIAD
want to?
2025-2026 session.
General group, if you drop one message, in
First,
10 minutes, you see another 400 messages. If you can
Yeah,
just do
but
a
if you
favor
just
and share it.
go to media, if you go to
network
media, you
Sherry,
see
you're not good.
It will be immediate if
Just,
you have downloaded it before.
yes, just check the general group. It just dropped. I've just downloaded
Oh,
it.
all right, thank you very much.
Okay, Sadiq Olamide want to talk. You want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to ask a question. You know, you were talking about the finance structure, and then you gave like an example that it's like the capital is actually controlling the affairs, and a country can easily be manipulated. So you gave an example as, for example, if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to collect loan from the IMF and they insist that you have to actually remove subsidy, which is basically what a lot of Nigerians are saying that is going on. In this kind of case, does that sort of undermine the sovereignty of the nation, or could it also possibly lead to a nation losing its sovereignty?
Thank you very much. So the sovereignty of a nation is usually influenced by global powers. I said by global powers. The sovereignty of a nation is usually influenced by global power. Look at the security structure. The countries that manage the security structure said to Nigeria that they are coming to Nigeria to defend the Nigerian Christian. They are coming to Nigeria to defend Nigerian Christian. They spoke with the Nigerian president that they are coming. At the beginning, Nigerian president was shaking head that no, they will not allow them to come. But what happened next? You say the American soldiers, they came to the country, right? Which means that sometimes, although it is done diplomatically, because there was a memo by the Minister of Foreign Affairs that says that they agreed that they should come, but at the beginning they don't want to allow them to come to the country. So sometimes those that control this force structure I mentioned, they influence any other country in the world. Yes, so they influence the sovereignty. So your sovereignty becomes weak if you don't control this force structure, the security, the production, the finance, and the knowledge. Look at the railway system in Nigeria. Most railway you are seeing in Nigeria now, currently is being done by Chinese company. That is the production, right? So if Chinese government is telling you that on everybody and anybody that use the railway, we have 2% for 20 years to come. They did it in 2025. I'm giving an example. They did it in 2025, and they say for 20 years to come, anybody that board the train, the Chinese government will be having 2% on the price of the ticket for 20 years. Do you think Tinubu will say no, or the president will say no? Because if they build a train, it's going to be part of the achievement of the government, right? So at the detriment of Nigerian, we allow them to do it, which means that they've influenced our decision. So although we have our sovereignty as a country, but they influence that sovereignty because of the power they have. I don't know whether I'll answer your question. I think Sadiq Olamide asked the question.
Yes, you did.
So country that has this power structure influence decision-making process in international politics. Understand? So now, she said she shared the past question to the group. I want you to open the past question she shared to the group. Now, look at the first past question you are seeing. Can anyone read the first question that is showing if you've opened it? I don't know. Just can anyone read the first past question if you are seeing it?
Explain the following concepts.
Okay.
1, international political economy.
Okay.
Number 2, international politics.
Okay.
Number 3, international political system.
Thank you very much. Now, I want you to go to the second question. Go to the second question. Read the first question.
The first question is explain the following concepts.
Okay.
Concept 1 is international political economy.
No.
Concept.
No. I mean the second past question. The second past question. We have 9 past
questions.
questions.
Write short notes on the following concepts.
Okay.
Number 1, political economy. Number 2, microeconomics. Number 3, mercantilists.
Okay, you see that all the theory, all these things, this concept they asked you to explain, we've discussed it now, right? Now, go to the third past, go to the fourth past question in the document I shared, the fourth past question. Question number 1 in the fourth past question.
Explain the following concepts.
Okay.
1, international political economy.
Okay.
2, international politics.
Okay.
3, international political system.
You see? Now, go to the fifth past question. Read question number 1 again.
Define the following concepts.
Okay.
1, politics and economics.
Okay.
2, international economic relations.
Okay.
3, describe the relationship between politics and economy in international relations.
Okay.
4, mercantilism.
Thank you very much. Look at the next past question. The next past question is another theory. So trade and development. If you look at all the past questions, approximately for good 9 years, for good 9 exams, you will find questions that ask you to define or explain or write short notes on the concept we studied, which means that no matter how, if you don't understand anything in this course, you must know the meaning of each concept. Go and cram it. I know we are all busy, but find a means to understand each concept. Maybe it will be the only thing that will save you in the exam. So, international politics, economic, international politics, international relationship, mercantilism, dual economy. You should try to understand this concept. So if you understand this concept, it's going to save you in the exam. You don't understand? So that is about the person that say, how is the question being asked in the exam? So when you look at it and our first part, which is in module 1, so you understand now. Now we'll move to module 2. Can we move to module 2, or do you have any question before we move to module 2? Any question before we move? Okay, somebody is asking, please, what is the fourth structure, sir? Okay, fourth structure. Can anyone list the fourth structure of global power structure? Can anyone list it for us?
The knowledge structure.
Knowledge.
The fourth one. So there's finance structure. There's security structure.
Okay.
And there's production structure.
Production structure.
Thank you very much. So the person that asked the question in the comment section, did you get it? Just let me know if you get it. You can unmute yourself and just say yes if you get it, please. I don't know whether the person is here. So we'll put.
I think the person that provided the answer in the comments missed knowledge and replaced it with technology.
Okay, yeah, it's not technology, it's knowledge structure, not technology structure. Knowledge structure. Now we want to proceed to the next part now. To the next part. The next part is international trade. in theory and practice. That is where we are going to ask ourselves, why do countries do business together? Why do they do trade? You're welcome. So why do countries do trade? International trade in theory and in practice. We are going to look at in theory and in practice. Listen. Now, international trade. What is international trade? International trade. Just give an example. Just explain. So in the international trade, let me just explain in a little way. So international trade usually occur because no country can live in isolation. Understand? So because some countries control the factors of production. Some countries control the production power. Some countries don't have it. So for them to have it, you need to do trade with those that have it. Understand? So trade remains one of the critical factors behind the growth and prosperity of any country in the world. For country to grow, you need trade. And trade will require you to move closer with another country. Let me just give you an example now. From you and me and you, like, me and you, I and you, I don't know. So you need knowledge about this course. So we are doing partnership. You need me because you think I have something that you need. That is why we are doing the trade. We are doing the partnership. The same thing regarding the world. Some countries, they have oil. Some don't have oil. They buy from those that have. Some country, they don't have manufacturing firms. They don't have companies. They don't have automobile companies. What do? They buy from countries that have automobile plants. Listen. So trade remain the engine of growth of the international economy. So that means that trade will exist. No country can stay on its own, say that they will not do business with another country. No, you cannot survive. You will need to do business with another country because even though you have the mineral resources, but there are some things you are lacking that you need another country to give you. Listen now. Now the question is, why country trade? Why do country trade? Countries do business together for 5 reasons. They do country trade for 5 reasons. Number 1, no country can produce everything it needs. No country can produce everything it needs. This is because each nation lacks some resources. Each nation lacks some resources. Look at Tesla, iPhone. There are some products in Tesla and iPhone that is taken from Congo Republic. Cobalt. You can Google it. They take it from Congo in Africa. Which means that even though they are rich, but they don't have that resources to make their product function well. You understand? Number 2 reason why country trade. Trade made goods cheaper in international system. Instead of a country to produce everything locally, understand, which sometimes is going to be expensive or costly, country will prefer to import cheaper alternative. Look at Nigeria. Nigeria, there is a company, I don't know the name of the company that manufacture car in Nigeria. What's the name of the what?
Innocent.
You thank you. Kindly move yourself. Dixie. I've moved him. Now, Innocence Motors. You see that Innocent Motors, they manufacture it locally. But if you compare their price, you will see that you can find it cheaper also abroad and bring it to Nigeria. Which means that trade usually make goods cheaper by providing alternative option instead of buying it locally at an expensive price. Some people, their bed in their house, they buy it from China and they are living in Nigeria. Do you want to tell me that they cannot buy bed in Nigeria? But they can source for cheaper product, which is quality, by true trade. Understand now? So number 3 reason why trade is important, why countries do trade together, is that trade gives access to new technology, which we call the transfer of technology. Understand? Because with trade, with international trade, countries import technology to improve productivity in their country. Understand? There was a time there was no smartphone in Nigeria. Understand? There was no smartphone in Nigeria. But through trade, there is smartphone. Understand? So the spread of smartphone came from Asia, Asian manufacturing country. Understand? Like China, like South Korea. So with trade, you can have the technology you cannot provide in your country. Number 4 reason why countries do trade together is that countries specialize in what they can provide in the best manner. Understand? Because this increases efficiency. I give you an example now. In Japan, in Japan, is it Japan? So in that country, they produce automobile. Understand? They produce cars. In Saudi Arabia, the focus is on oil. So I'm sorry. Sometimes I might be speaking and French is going to enter there. So sometimes I will mix up with French. So in Saudi Arabia, they focus on oil. In Kenya, they focus on tea. Which means that countries with trade, countries specialize on what they can produce best, because that is going to bring in efficiency. With that, they can export more and get more money for the country. The comparative, somebody has mentioned a comparative advantage. That is, we are going to do it in this module 2. Thank you very much. So number 5 reason why they do business is that trade usually creates economic growth and jobs. As in, it creates economic growth and jobs. So which means that exporting countries, exporting industries, listen, since no country can live in isolation, since you need to do business with another country, that means that we have a sector called the exporting industry. They are there to facilitate that transaction, financial transaction between two countries, transportation of goods and services. And so they create employment. And the employment also increase the national income. Understand? So these are some of the reasons why, countries do trade together. And aside from that one, there is usually the transmission of knowledge, skill, and technology with trade. Understand? So you can see you can see it from my slide. Although it's jam-packed, as I said, but if you open the slide very well, you understand from my slide. Listen. So in essence, trade is important. It is needed. All countries in the world, listen, they need to invest. They need to do trade, because no country can survive on their own. So somebody has mentioned the law of comparative advantage from my slide. So that is, you focus on what you can do better. We are going to explain it better in the let me just take now. Let's take the Law of comparative advantage. Please, number 2. Please, number 2 again. Which number 2, please? I don't understand. Can you unmute yourself? Somebody ask questions. Somebody say, please, number 2.
Why countries do trade?
Okay. Can anyone list them for us, please? Can anyone list them for us? Can anyone list it for us? Can anyone list the 5 I mentioned? Nobody want to list it. Okay. Somebody should record it. I'm recording it. Don't worry, I'm recording it. You are going to have the recording. I'll share it to someone here in the group. So, but I'll repeat it again. Don't worry, I'll repeat it. Number 1 reason why they do trade together. You asked for number 2, right?
Yes. Trade make goods.
Okay, it make goods cheaper. Okay, you can check the comment section. Thank you very much. This person, Femi Busari, has airports. Thank you very much. You can check from the comment section. He has, how do you call list the 5 reasons. Understand? We want to talk about something here. Okay, there's one question in the past question I want us to talk about. Now, it's comparative advantage. Although it's showing as comparative law, just bear with me. Comparative advantage is showing in the past question. Listen, I'm coming. It's not, I didn't place it very well here, but now there are theories I want you to look at. Economic theory, international economic theory. Now, comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is the most important theory when it comes to international trade. Understand? And when we say comparative advantage, what is the core idea of comparative advantage? This theory we are calling comparative advantage. Understand? It says that even if a country is good producing everything, that is, that country has the power to produce anything in the world, it is still important for that country to specialize in good where it has the lowest opportunity cost. I repeat it. That is, if a country can produce anything in the world, it can produce everything in the world. Understand? That country should still specialize itself in goods where it has the lowest opportunity cost. Now, the meaning is that it tells us what a country should specialize in to benefit from trade. It's not because you can produce anything in the world that you will be producing it, but focusing on some things that is going to give you more advantage in international trade, something that is going to give you more benefit. Understand now? So that what we are trying to say in essence is that a country should produce what it can make more cheaply and efficiently relatively to other goods. What you can make cheaply, do it, than what you think you can make. But if you make it, it's going to be expensive. And in the international system, your commodity, your product is going to compete with somebody else somewhere that is cheaper. Let me give you an example now. Nigeria, as an example. Let's take the oil industry and the manufacturing industry. Nigeria, we can produce car. We've mentioned Innocent and IVM. They produce car in Nigeria, right? At the same time, Nigeria will produce oil. But when you look at oil, we look at cars, what is benefiting Nigeria is oil, because we can produce in large quantity and also in a competitive price. But when we look at cars, we can produce it also, but the price we are producing is going to be expensive, which is going to be competing with other, it is not going to compete with other cars that are coming abroad. Because normally, if we are satisfied with what we are producing in Nigeria as a car, we're supposed not to allow cars to come in from outside country to Nigeria again. We should directly buy it from local manufacturers. But sometimes when you do your calculation with the importing of your car to the country, you will notice that your car is even cheaper if you bring it from abroad. Understand now? So that means you focus on what you can produce cheaply that is going to give you more profit. I don't know whether we are communicating. Are we communicating? Are we communicating? Are we communicating?
Very, very well. That means you need to give innocent motto. Protectionism.
Thank you very much. We are going to talk about protectionism today. I think it's still in this module. We are going to talk about protectionism theory. It's still in this course, protectionism. So, in essence, that is about the comparative advantage. Now, we have another theory of international trade. The first theory of international trade I mentioned is comparative advantage. The second theory of international trade is the Echet-Owen theory. You can see from my slide. Let me arrange this slide. I just jump back it. I can say this class is just an impromptu class. We did not plan it since last week. It's just impromptu. You can check my slide now. I've tried to arrange it now. You can check the one I put. I'm trying to put it in. Let me put it in red. I put it in red with a yellow ink. You can check from the slide. You can check it from the slide.
Can you put it on slide mode?
Slide mode. I don't know whether you will see. That's why I'm. I try to put maybe it's loading. I'll try to put it on slide mode now. It's showing on my laptop on slide mode, but I don't know whether it's showing from your hand there. Is it showing on slide mode?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I tried yesterday. It's still not showing. Just bear with me. I'll try to see slide mode. Just bear with me. I put it on slide mode already here.
Okay, no problem. Just fire on. We cannot see it yet, but fire on.
Okay. Somebody's asking how many hours is the class. I don't even know how many hours is the class. I don't even know.
24 hours.
I don't know how many hours is the class, so maybe I should stop, right? There was a person, Mariam. Somebody's asking, okay. So Mary, I don't know, Mary Jane. So should I stop the class now? I don't know whether you want me to stop. That's what you're asking.
We have done nothing yet now.
Don't stop. Maybe she's tired. So
Tariq,
if you're tired,
video.
And we continue tomorrow if time permits us. Now, the second theory.
No, tomorrow for another course, please. Let's continue.
The second theory. The first theory we talk about international trade, theory of international trade. Number one is comparative advantage. Number two theory is the Echet-Owen theory. I try to make it bigger, but let me spell it. That is H-E-C-K-S. Let me write it in the comment section. It's going to be faster. Let me write it in the comment section so that you can try to. It's not an English word, so that's H-E-C-K-S-C-H-E-R. Echet Ohlin. That's O-H-L-I-N theory. So you can check the comment section. I put it there. I put it in the comment section. So that's the second theory. If you don't know how to pronounce it, call it the H and O theory. The H and O theory. Because it's not an English word, so it's going to be difficult to pronounce it. So you call it the H and O theory. Listen now. Now, the H and O theory, listen, is from Swedish economists. Understand? It's from the name. It's from the name of two Swedish economy. So the first name of the economist is Etcher. The other name is Olin. So they now coin it together, the H and O theory. So this theory, the core idea of this theory is that country export goods that use abundant resources and import goods that require resources they lack. Country, they export, countries send out goods that use the abundant resources. That is what country manufacture more. They export it out. Understand? And they import goods that require resources they lack. Understand? This particular theory explains to us why Nigeria exports oil, why we export oil, but at the end, what happened? We import refined petroleum because we have oil, crude oil, we export it outside. But what comes in at the end is refined petroleum. Understand? So it's about sending out what you have in abundance and bringing in what you lack. That is why Dangote use his brain calculation. That nobody is in this business, so they do Dangote refinery. So that even though Nigeria is still exporting outside, but they will do the calculation also. If they want to export, they will bring in some to him to refine, because most of our refinery in Nigeria are not working. Do you understand? So on the other hand, you will see that China, they have capital abundance. Sorry, Germany, they have capital abundance. Understand? They how do you call? They export, right? They export capital intensive goods. They export machinery, engineering products. Understand? So it's about resources in abundance that you have, exporting it outside while you bring something that you think that is lacking in your country. China on their own, what do? They have labor abundance. China has labor abundance because they have the population, and the population is working. So what the population of China is doing, they are focusing on manufacturing more goods, cheaper goods. So when they do the cheaper goods, they sell all the cheaper goods outside. So this theory is just trying to tell you that exporting should occur only when you know that you have a particular product in abundance. Understand? So if you have a particular product in abundance, that is where you can do the exporting of your product outside. So for my slide here, you can see that we say the basic of trade, when you come to the H and O theory, the basic of trade is not because of inherent technology difference between countries. Rather, trade exists because countries are endowed with different factors of supply. So you focus on what you can supply more to the outsider, while you take what you are lacking. Listen, a country that has labor abundant, they have many labor, will export labor-intensive goods. That is why you see China, they do everything. They do toy, they do electronics, they do automobile, because they have labor. So the labor they have, that is, they have manpower, they have people that work. So these people they do labor-intensive goods. But on the other hand, some countries, they have capital abundant. They have money. They have anything that understand. They have capital abundant skills. But this capital abundant country, they will export capital intensive goods. Country that have labor abundant export labor intensive goods. Country that have capital abundant, they export capital intensive goods. I've given the example of China. China, they have labor abundant. They export labor intensive goods like toys, electronics, automobile, and the likes. But Germany, they have capital abundance. They export engineering, machineries. Nigeria, we have natural resources abundant in Nigeria. So we export crude oil and gas. So this theory is just telling us that what you have, give it outside. And what you think you are lacking, you take it. Listen, the first theory, the comparative theory, said that just focalize on what you know you can produce better at a cheaper rate than any other person. Am I communicating, please? Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. There is
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
It's just the information is too loaded.
There is another theory we need to look at. I'm not seeing in my slide. Okay, it's here. It should be there. If you look at my slide, I don't know if you could. If you look at my slide, I put exam tips. Exam tips says that know the three trades theorists: Adam Smith, David Ricardo, and H.H. Owen. Now, let me explain that. So the absolute advantage. Thank you very much, Ejiada, you in the comment section. So the absolute advantage, the person that propelled that absolute advantage, his name is David Ricardo. Abi? Is it that? No, sorry. Comparative advantage. The first theory we talk about, comparative advantage, his name is David Ricardo. Now, the second theory, it was done by two Swedish. If you check the slide I'm showing you, it was done by two Swedish. So they joined their name. So that is why we call it the H and O. The first person name started with H. The second person name started with O. So now join it together, the H and O theory, the H-Olin theory. So that is their own name. The third theory is absolute advantage theory. And it was done by Adam Smith. In my slide I share with you, it is stated that know this three theory, because in the past question also, these three theory, they are there. You need to know, you need to define, you need to how to define absolute advantage, comparative advantage, H and O theory. You need to know how to define them. Now, let's take absolute advantage. Absolute advantage. Just bear with me. I'm looking for something in my slide. I know I didn't put it in my slide. I didn't put that one. I don't put up the absolute advantage in my slide, but let's talk about that. Now, absolute advantage, it was propelled by Adam Smith. Understand? What is the core idea of this absolute advantage? The absolute advantage is telling us that a country should produce goods it can make efficiently than others. A country should produce goods it can make efficiently than any other country. You know, the comparative one say that you should make good that you know that you can make it cheaper and efficiently than any other. But this one is saying that the absolute advantage that you should make goods. Understand? You should make good as a country. You should make good that you know you can make efficiently than others. Let me give an example now. Like Brazil. Brazil has an absolute advantage when it comes to coffee. When it comes to coffee, Brazil has an absolute advantage. Saudi Arabia, when it comes to crude oil, Saudi Arabia has an absolute advantage because that is what they can do. Understand? When it comes to manufactured goods, China, they have an absolute advantage. Do you understand? So this theory is telling you that you should focus on that product. You know that you have an absolute advantage on any other country. Are we communicating, please? Are we communicating?
Very well.
Yes, please.
Now, I want to ask a question. Why trade is important? I want everybody to talk. Why trade is important? Why trade is important? Why do you think trade is important? Why trade is important? Why trade is important?
Good
Why?
evening, please.
Yeah, good evening, ma.
Okay, I would say trade is important because it fosters relationship between one country and the other. And again, I would say that it's important because a country cannot make everything, cannot produce everything. So just like no man is an island, so also it comes down to trade too. So you have to be able to give and then take what you don't. You have to give out and take from another country. So it's like it brings about a good relationship between one country or the other.
Thank you very much. You mentioned two questions. You mentioned 2 points. We have Rema Christos. I don't know. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name well. Yeah, you can unmute your mic.
So trade is important because it provides access to goods and services. It provides consumers with options.
Okay, that's the point.
It also creates job opportunity.
Okay, 1 point. We have Jennifer Ezinwa.
I feel like trade is important because it fosters movement of goods from points of excess to points of scarcity.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this Rema has okay.
Trade also it improves living standards
Okay,
because when there is competition, competition from trade can lower prices and other things.
Thank
So
you very much.
giving people better choices and affordability.
Thank you very much. Sadiq Olamide.
I feel like trade is important because it fosters good relationship between countries. Countries who trade together cannot have conflicts.
Thank you very much. Peace, promote peace and cooperation. Thank you very much. So you need to go and know the reason why trade is important. Understand? The reason why you need to know it for your exam. Why trade is important. You need to know it. Understand? Now, I just that one just came and I just mentioned it. That's important. You just need to note it down. Now, for your exam tips, you need to know you check my slide. If you have time later, you can check my slide. Check my slide and you will be seeing exam tips. All the exam tips, try to find a way to know them. Understand? Compare the two theories. The Adam Smith theory, Ricardo Duan theory, so you just find a way to know the theory, the absolute security, absolute advantage, comparative advantage, the H and O theory. Know how to know this theory. Understand? It's going to help in the exam. Now, the next thing we want to look at is the nationalist theory, which is known. So, no, let me explain now. The first three theory I mentioned advantage, absolute advantage, comparative advantage, and the H and O theory. They are the orthodox trade theory. They are like, we can call them the classical trade theory or traditional. Let me just put it traditional so that you can understand. That is traditional. But now, we want to talk about the modern version of trade theory. What is happening in our contemporary world, which is the protectionist theory or the protectionism theory. Protectionism theory or the protectionist theory. You can see from my slide, I don't know why this slide is not being okay. My slide has stopped safe. It's not showing again. Sorry, the slide is. Let me know if the slide is showing, please. I'll try to change it now. Is it showing? Can anyone see my slide? Is it showing like protectionist?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Now you will see that in the slide, the red part is the protectionist theory. The blue part is the orthodox theory. That is the traditional one. The traditional one is the one we talk about, Adam Smith, the Ricardo Ban, and the HNO. That is the first three we mentioned. Now, let us look at the protectionist theory. Now, the basic idea behind the protectionist theory is that countries should protect its industry and direct economy activities for national development and power. That is, a country should find all the possible means to protect its country, all the small country in the country. You should find all the possible means to protect them because they are the ones that are going to boost the economic power. That is the idea that comes with protectionist theory. Now, what is protectionism? Protectionism refers to all the way a government tries to protect its local industry from foreign competition.
Sorry, sir. May I suggest that everybody should, close his video because it's becoming a distraction.
Oh, I'll close it. I'll close that of Joseph Peter. I can close it from here. Don't worry. I've closed it. Thank you very much for that suggestion. So, protectionism refers to all the way a government tries to protect its local industry from foreign competition. That is how a company, how a government, how a country find all possible way to protect its local industry from competition, from foreign competition. Understand? So, because instead of allowing trade, free trade, like this, allowing all international companies, all foreign companies to enter your country easily, instead of allowing them, because if they come, they are going to compete with your local industry. So what they happen? A protectionism put barriers around the national economy so that the local producer can survive and grow. May God bless Muhammadu Buhari. Buhari utilized this protectionism theory by closing Nigerian border with Benin Republic, Cameroon, and Niger to protect the local farmers in Nigeria. Understand? There was a time there was rice pyramid in Nigeria because our local farmers were working hard and there were no competition from outsider. Because there was a time foreign rice were cheaper than local rice. Understand? Like people like us like this, we go, I grew up from Ivory Coast. So when I came back to Nigeria, in our family, we don't eat Nigerian rice, we eat Ivory Coast rice. So they usually bring it from Ivory Coast whenever we want to eat. So some of us like this, we prefer foreign rice. We don't like local rice because it's different taste. So we don't like local rice. So we have people like that. They will prefer to buy foreign rice, which if you are buying foreign rice, is going to be killing local farmer. So to protect local farmer, what you do is that you put barriers. Protectionism. You put protectionism policy. Listen, protectionism theory is just like a way to protect local industry, local producer, manufacturers from foreign competitors. So this is the direct opposite of free trade. Because when we talk about free trade, we talk about liberalism. Understand? Because the free trade allow foreign investors, foreign competitors, companies to come to your country. But protectionism make you to set barriers. Now, you might be asking yourself, why countries use protectionism? Why countries use protectionism? You understand? Number one reason why countries use protectionism is to protect infant industry. Or you can say is to protect small industries. You understand? To protect infant industry or small industry. Because young companies or small companies or industry cannot compete with advanced foreign companies. Understand? We cannot compete with advanced foreign companies. So what we do, we protect them through protectionism theory. That's number one. Number two is to reduce unemployment. If what we are importing to our country dominates our country, if import is dominating our country, those local factories, manufacturers will close down. And once they close down, there is going to be unemployment. I will give you an example now. India, understand? They put restriction on Chinese cheap goods. They say that any cheap product that comes from China should not enter India territory, especially electronics, so as to protect local Indian companies that produce these electronics. Because if the Chinese market enter China or enter India, they are going to compete in price with Indian company. And once they compete in price with Indian company, what happens? Company will go down. And once company go down, unemployment. Understand? Number three reason why country use protectionism theory is for national security purpose. Understand? Because country protects national industries that are strategic. There was a time USA, they wanted to ban TikTok. That TikTok app we use, they wanted to ban TikTok app in USA because they believe that China used TikTok to spy on people. Listen, the phone we're using, they can use to spy on us. Who knows? Maybe as I'm talking, somebody else is watching me from China. Who knows? Listen, so there are some sectors in the country that are strategic. If we don't protect these sectors and foreign investors came in, they can have access to some confidential data of our country. There was a fight between China, the first fight between China and the USA, it came from 5G network. It came from 5G network when China developed the 5G network. Understand? So they believe that, USA believe that with the 5G network, there are some sensitive technological information of USA that can be touched by China. So because of national security purpose, they have to put protectionism concept there that we are going to develop our own 5G ourselves, not that you are going to bring it for us. Number four reason why country uses protectionism theory is to protect local culture and identity. Listen, it's to protect local culture and identity. You see, sometimes countries can use protectionism in a way to protect our culture. See, France, they limit foreign films. If you are in France, to see foreign movies is going to be difficult because they want to protect the movie industry. I know how to speak Yoruba language through Nollywood. I didn't live in Nigeria. I live in Ivory Coast, in a French country. But I learned how to speak Yoruba language through Nollywood movie, which means that Nigerian culture from Nigeria through our Nollywood, through our film industry, has influenced me in Ivory Coast. But if there is a protectionism theory, a policy in Ivory Coast that prevents foreign movies to be displayed on national TV, there is no way I will learn to speak Yoruba. Do you understand? So with protectionism, you can protect the local culture. Before, people wear buba and those traditional clothes. But nowadays, we dress like Americans, we dress like foreigners, we dress like Europeans. Because the culture has influenced our culture. So to protect our culture, we need to set barriers. Understand? Number 5 reason why protectionism theory is important is because it helps to raise government revenue. It helps to raise government revenue, the profit of the country. So somebody is asking in the comment section, Adiza is asking in the comment section, she said that, so is Kim Jong-un of North Korea using protectionism? Yeah, Kim Jong-un of North Korea using protectionism. It says that they coordinate the goods or the services that can enter North Korea. Anything cannot enter North Korea just like that. There is limitation. Understand? There's limitation to what can enter North Korea. Thank you for the example you gave. So in essence, another reason, we have many reasons why countries use protectionism. Another is to raise the revenue of the country, because if we focus on local industry and they are making more sales, surely they will sell outside. But if they are not making more sales, if they are not producing more, they cannot sell outside. So we'll be depending on importing. Understand? So, and protectionism also is being used for retaliation. If a country places tariff on you as a country, you respond with tariff. What do we call that one? In MIAD 805, no, in MIAD 807, there is something we did yesterday, 807. We says if a country put tariff in you, you retaliate with tariff. What do we call it?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Reciprocity. So you use protectionism as reciprocity also. The case of USA and China. There is a trade war between USA and China. Any good you sell from China to USA, you pay higher tariff. Any good you sell from USA to China, you pay higher tariff. Tit for tat. Understand? Now, let me just proceed to the next slide. Method or tools for protectionism. You can check from the next slide. Method or tools for protectionism. Method or tools for protectionism. Number 1 method, that is, if I say method or tools of protectionism, that is, how do the government protect local industry? What is the government doing to protect local industry? Listen, I'm tired for sitting. Oh, sorry. Number 1 tools or method of protectionism, number 1 is tariff, which is import tax, tariff or import tax. When we say tariff or import tax, import taxes, a tariff is a tax that is placed on imported goods. This is to make foreign goods expensive so people can buy local products. Understand? If Nigerian government want to support innocent cars and IVM motors, if they want to support them, the only thing is to put higher tariff on any car that is coming to Nigeria. They put higher tax on them so that people will find it very difficult or expensive to buy foreign cars. They are going to now focus on locally made cars. I said that's number 1 method. Number 2 is quota. Import quota. You can check on my slide. Import quota. With import quotas, a country set limit on physical amounts of certain product that can be imported to their country. Understand? They set limit of the quantity of a product that can enter the territory. I give you an example. Sugar in the European Union, in Europe, in the European Union territory, sugar has a quota to protect European sugar farmers, which means that if you like manufacture sugar in Africa or Asia or in America, you have a quota you can bring to European territory. If you want to sell it, you have a quota they've placed because they want to protect local or European sugar farmers. So they put a quota on it. Listen,
we now have a petroleum product too, like PMS.
I don't know. PMS, can you explain that one for us, please?
Of course, the regulatory space, the regulator, they set a quota particular of volume
OPEC plus
that can enter Nigeria,
okay,
so that they can protect Dangote.
Okay, thank you very much. So that is an example also, import quota. So you are linking this class to realities that happen in Nigeria. So that is import quota. Understand? So we somebody else does say OPEC set quota. Thank you. So that is these are examples also. Understand? We have another method or tools of protectionism, which we call import bans or protection or prohibition rather. That is banning, BAN, import ban or prohibition. That is, with the import ban or prohibition, there is usually complete restriction on certain import product. That is, this particular product, we don't want it in our country or we don't want it in our territory. There was a time Nigeria banned the importation of frozen chicken. If you go to the market, you want to buy turkey, you will never see turkey labs. You always see one part of turkey.
Turkey is still banned, actually.
What do you say?
Turkey is still banned. It's still contraband
Turkey
in
is still
Nigeria.
banned.
It's still banned. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
even Okirika.
So that is import ban. It's also a way of protectionism. It's just to encourage the local, farmers. Understand? Toothpick in Nigeria, there was a time they banned it also. Understand? Rice, there was a time the rice was banned. Foreigners to come in Nigeria, there was a time it was banned to come to Nigeria because we want to protect our local farmers. Understand? Number 4 method of protectionism is subsidies. Subsidies. That is, if the government is banning or restricting people to bring things to the country, then the government also should support people that are doing it in the country. So they bring in subsidies. That is, the government give money to local industries so that they can produce cheaply and compete with other foreigners in the country. They give money to local farmers to buy insecticides, to buy grain, to buy machines, so that if the person wants to sell, if the farmer wanted to sell it at 10,000 with the subsidy, he can sell it at 7,000. Listen, so this is about import subsidies. Why the 5th one method or tools of protectionism is border closure. Buhari did that one, that we close the border. We close the border and nothing enter our country again. Let us focus on our problem. So that is border closure. Why the 6th one is the standard and regulation. Standard and regulation. So in Europe, there's usually regulation they place in the country. They usually place regulations. So this regulation, you see that if you want to travel to Europe and you get to the point of point of entry, they search your bag, and there are some goods when they see it in your bag, that thing will not enter their country. They will seize it at the point of entry. Somebody says Standard Organization of Nigeria. Thank you very much. We are linking this in Nigeria. So Standard Organization of Nigeria, they also have that one also. So they set standard of the kind of goods or the kind of commodity that can enter the country. Listen now. So, like European Union, they banned some African agricultural products to enter the European territory. There are some airports when you get to the airport in Europe, there are some products from Africa that cannot enter European territory. Yes, sir. So these are the 6 methods used by protectionist government to protect local industries. Understand? Question before we proceed, please. I want you to check past question before we proceed. I want you to check past question. Listen, we will do a game. It's just a way to study. You want to check past question. The person that was checking past question for us again, I don't know who was the person that was checking past question for us. So I want you to check past question. Look at the past question number 1. Past question number 1. Who is there to look at that past question number 1 for us?
Past question number 1.
Yeah.
Question 1 says, explain the following concept: international political economy, international politics, international political system. Question number 2 says, outline and discuss 3 contemporary theories that account for the emergence and functions of the international political economy.
So with that question number 2, I think we've done the question number 2. I want you to look at the past question number 2. Look at past question number 2, please. Past question number 2, question 2. Read past question about 2, question 2 for me.
Okay, so with relevant examples, discuss 4 importance of international trade to countries.
With relevant example, you should talk about the importance of international trade to countries. We've discussed about that one this night, right?
Yes.
You understand? That is 1. Now, look at the past question number 2, question 4.
He said, using your understanding of the 4 global power structures, explain the assertion that those who control international politics control international economy.
What are the 4 global power structures?
The finance structure, the production structure,
security, production,
security,
finance, and knowledge.
and the knowledge structure.
Which means that we've done it this night, right? Look at past question number 3. Look at past question number 3.
Okay.
Look at question number 2. No, we've not done that one. We've not done that one. Look at question number 1.
It says, discuss the 3 contemporary theories that account for the successful sustenance of international political and economic relations.
So we talk about the 3 theories we talk about. The 3 theories we discuss now. We talk about the 3 theories. Now, look at the past question number. Is it past question number 4? Yeah. Look at past question number 4. You will see they mention question number 3. Past question number 4, question number 3.
It says, with your knowledge of theories of international trade, suggest how Nigeria can derive maximum benefit from her trade with other countries.
Listen, that is how, whether you want to use absolute advantage or you want to use comparative advantage. We've talked about that. Listen, so in essence, what we are discussing this night, there are things that are likely going to come in your exam. I'm not a prophet, but when I teach and I make sure that if you don't understand anything, at least 70% of what I'm teaching you will stay in your brain. So find a way. If we are done with the class, find a way to sit down. Try to read your notes. If you jot something, if you did not jot, I will send the video. You watch the video again. And while you are watching the video, try to jot. It might be the only thing that you will remember in the exam, but try to jot while you are watching the video again. The exam is Saturday. Listen, there is no time, but do your best to read the questions I sent, read the slide I sent, and watch the video and jot. It's going to help. Now we will proceed to the next concept. 832. We started by 832. We're supposed to stop by 8. It's 832. It is 8:32, but we are going to stop now. We are going to stop now. But
you don't tire.
I'm not that, but I'm not.
So let's strike a deal. We can release you only if you can do 803 for us tomorrow.
803.
Tomorrow, I beg. We'll release you right away, please. I beg.
See bribing.
I beg. May you complete this Lord's work you're doing.
Our cost rep is begging, Joe.
I know because rep will
What exams are taken?
Yeah,
just
our
a graduate student like you.
cost rep. Yeah, online cost rep.
I beg, Mr. Abdul, just
I'm sure you will be
just
proud
know
after
that
the
you're sowing
exams
in our
or after
lives.
the
You're
result
sowing
is
in our
released.
lives.
But
In our project, we'll give a shout out to you, please.
I have exam. I'm doing 2 masters with ABU. I'm doing master in public administration, master in international affairs and diplomacy. I have 2 exams, so I have to read also. So I don't know.
What about Thursday, please?
Before we go, I would advise you to read about globalization, multinational corporation, world trade. Just know globalization, multilateral cooperation. Somebody says civil diplomacy as is multinational cooperation, GATT, as an IMF. You cannot escape these 4 concepts. You cannot escape. One of these is going to come in the exam.
Could you please repeat them again?
Multinational cooperation, globalization, World Trade Organization, and GATT. The GATT is the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade. If you check my slide, you will see it there. You will see it from my slide, so it's there. You cannot. One of these 4 concepts, you cannot escape it. You can check the past question I've shared to you. You cannot escape it. I took my time to study the past questions. You cannot escape it. So I wish we can cover it, but we were not able to cover it. But I would just advise you to read on that one, and it's going to be well. It's going to be well in the exam. I'm going to stop the recording.